Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Tuesday, April 13th, 2021. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball games and look ahead to today's games in each sport. I'll go over the latest news and notes, last night's episode of American Idol and who made the top 12, and my best bet of the day. All right, we're going to start with the NBA today, just to be a little different, as that season is in the stretch run. We'll go over the results for today and look ahead to tomorrow's games. Knicks over the Lakers, 111-96. The Knicks are 28-27. The Lakers 33-21. Julius Randle, great again. 34 points, 10 boards, and 4 assists. And Dennis Schroeder, 21 points and 6 assists for the Lakers. 76ers over the Mavericks, 113-95. Sixers 37-17. Dallas 29-24. Joel Embiid had 36 points and 7 boards. Luka Doncic had 32 and 4 assists. Spurs over the Magic, 120-97. The Spurs 26-26. Orlando 17-37. DeMar DeRozan had 19 points for the Spurs along with 6 assists. And R.J. Hampton had 16 for Orlando. Grizzlies over the Bulls, 101-90. The Grizzlies 27-25. Chicago 22-31. Jonas Valanciunas, 36 points and 14 boards. Zach LaVine, 21 with 9 assists. Pelicans over the Kings, 117-110. The Pelicans 25-29, Sacramento 22-32. Brandon Ingram had 34 points and 7 assists. And De'Aaron Fox, 43 points and 6 assists. Wizards over the Jazz, 125-121. The Wizards are 20-33. The Jazz 40-14. As they snapped the Jazz's 24-game home winning streak. Wild stuff. Bradley Beal, 34 points to lead the way for Washington. And Donovan Mitchell had 42 with 6 assists for the Jazz. Warriors over the Nuggets, 116-107. The Warriors 26-28, big win for them. Denver 34-20. Stephen Curry, 53 points. Just incredible stuff. And Nikola Jokic had 27, 12, and 8. Suns over the Rockets, 126-120. The Suns, 38-15. And the Rockets, 14-40. Jay Crowder had 26 points. And Christian Wood had 25 of 15 rebounds. A shorter slate for tonight, 7:30 on TNT. You have the Clippers and the Pacers. A solid game. Not a great game, but a game that I think is worthy of this TNT spot. It's better than Lakers-Charlotte at the moment because Charlotte doesn't have their guys and neither do the Lakers. It's better than Atlanta-Toronto. So I guess this is the worthy game. My numbers are Clippers 10.5, total 225.5. Meanwhile, the Clippers are favored in this game by 2.5 and of. We only have 2 totals out so far, and those are for the later games. I'm going to lay the 2.5 with the Clippers. That is very low. I mean, do we even know if Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are definitely playing or not? Because why is this line so low? Doesn't even say. But that, like I said, that's a very short number, and I'd lay that with the Clippers. They have the best 2 players on the court. Hawks-Raptors, I'm at Hawks 8, total 224. Meanwhile, it's Hawks as a 3-point underdog. Wrong team's favor. I'm taking the Hawks plus the 3 and plus 124 on the money line. Or maybe this is the Vegas nose game. We haven't had one of those in a minute in the NBA. 8 o'clock, you have the Lakers and the Hornets. I'm at Lakers 5.5, total 219. Meanwhile, it's Charlotte by 2. You could argue that this is another wrong team favorite situation. Not only because, obviously, the Lakers have been dogs to pretty much everybody, especially the not the terrible, terrible teams, but like teams as worse as, let's say, the Kings, I think is like the worst team I've seen them an underdog until. But the Kings are arguably better than Charlotte right now, especially with Charlotte not having their two best players. But the Lakers without AD and LeBron are not good either. I'm taking the Lakers in the 2 and plus 108. Next up, 9 o'clock, you have the Thunder and the Jazz. I'm at Jazz 24.5 till 22. No, 16.5. I'm laying the 16.5. I'm laying the wood with the Jazz. 10 o'clock, you have the Heat and the Suns. That's a worthy TNT game. That's certainly a better game than the Pacer-Clipper game, but the only way they would have made that work into the doubleheader is if they made the Suns tip off at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. Which I've seen that before from a West Coast teams. I'm at Phoenix 9 total, 218.5, by the way, and it's 3 and 216.5. I'm laying the 3 with the Suns. I know it's heavily juiced at minus 114. But right now, you can make a case they're the better team. The best player on the court might be on the Heat side and Jimmy Butler. But the better team is the Phoenix Suns. Last but not least, on TNT tonight, the Celtics and the Trailblazers. I'm at Portland 1 total, 26. Meanwhile, it's 1 and 227.5. I wouldn't bet it, but I'm taking the under for the sake of the podcast. It's just that my numbers are too close together for this game, so I can't bet it. So under 227.5 is the play for the sake of the podcast. Alrighty, now we'll move on to the NHL from last night and look back on those games, look ahead to what should be a busy window tonight in hockey. Red Wings over the Hurricanes 3-1. Detroit, again, with these big money line upsets. 15-23-6 on the year. Carolina 27-10-4. The number 3 started the game with 27 saves on 28 shots. James Reiner. 27 saves on 29 shots. The number 2 started the game with 2 assists for the Red Wings, Michael Rasmussen, and the number 1 started the game with 37 saves on 38 shots, Jonathan Bernier. Getting that mixed up with James Reiner. But Bernier was tremendous in this game. Blackhawks over the Blue Jackets 4-3 in overtime on a game winner by Kirby Dach. Chicago 20-18-5. Columbus 15-20-9. The number 3 started the game with 2 assists, Patrick Kane. The number 2 started the game with 2 goals, Patrick Laine. And the number 1 started the game with the goal, Brandon Hagel. Canadians over the Maple Leafs 4-2. Montreal 18-12-9. Toronto 28-11-3. The number 3 started the game with 2 goals, Thomas Tatar. Number 2 started the game with 2 assists, Paul Byron. And the number 1 started the game with the goal, Josh Anderson. Senators over the Jets 4-2. The Sens are 14-25-4. Winnipeg 25-14-3. The number 3 started the game with a goal, Connor Brown. Number 2 started the game with 2 assists, Thomas Chabot. And the number 1 started the game with 2 goals, Brady Tkachuk. Avs over the Coyotes 4-2. Again, another Coyotes over. Colorado 29-9-4. Arizona 19-19-5. The number 3 started the game with 35 saves on 37 shots, Philip Gaubauer. Number 2 started the game with 2 assists, Cale Makar. And the number 1 started the game with the goal and assist, Nathan McKinnon. Golden Knights over the Kings 4-2. The Golden Knights are 28-11-2. LA 16-19-6. The number 3 started the game with the goal for the Kings, Austin Wagner. The number 2 started the game with the goal, Alex Tuck. And the number 1 started the game with the goal and assist, Mark Stone. Ducks over the Sharks 4-0. The Ducks 13-23-7. San Jose 18-19-4. The number 3 started the game with a goal and an assist, Max Comtois. The number 2 started the game with 2 goals, Alexander Volkov, and the number 1 started the game with 46 saves on 46 shots, Anthony Stolarz. All right, tonight's window, 6 games deep. 7 o'clock, you have the Rangers and the Devils. An important game for the Rangers. They want to stick it to the playoff race. They're a minus 198 favorite. The Devils are plus 166. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 134. Unders plus 110. Rangers minus 1.5 is plus 138. Devils plus 1.5 is minus 166. Fading the Devils for now on, I think, is a smart move, especially with the trainings of Kyle Palmieri and Travis Zajac. So I'm going to take the Rangers on the puck line minus 1.5 at plus 138. Sabres, Bruins. Bruins are a hefty minus 350. Buffalo is plus 280. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 106. Unders minus 114. Buffalo plus 1.5 is minus 102. Boston minus 1.5 is minus 118. I don't like what I've seen from the Boston Bruins of late. I just don't think something's right. They get crushed by the Capitals. And I know this on paper seems like a get-right spot, but Buffalo's rarely pulled off some upsets lately over the Rangers, over the Devils. Well, the Devils, let's be honest, fading the Devils is the right move right now. They're going to be just as bad as the Sabres down the stretch, potentially, with some of those trades. But the play for here is going to be over 5.5 at minus 106. I wanted to take Buffalo plus 1.5 at minus 102. But to play it safe, I'm taking the over. Maybe I'll parlay the two. I could see this being a 4-3 Bruins win. I could see this game going in overtime. So I'm going to say that over 5.5 is very realistic, minus 106. NBCSN, the Flyers and the Capitals. The Capitals are minus 166. The Flyers are plus 140. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 106. Unders minus 114. Flyers plus 1.5 is minus 176. The Capitals minus 1.5 is plus 146. Another hard call here, but I'm going to take the over. Philadelphia has not played well lately. Their defense has been terrible. Washington's on a hot streak offensively, coming off the 8-goal performance. I could see this being a 3-4, 5-4 type of game. So we're going to go over 6.5 at minus 106. 7:30, the Flames and the Maple Leafs. The Leafs are minus 194. Calgary's plus 162. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 128. Unders plus 104. Calgary plus 1.5 is minus 176. Maple Leafs minus 1.5 is plus 146. This is a ballsy call, but I'm going to go under 5.5 at plus 104. Obviously, the Flames making some trades. They trade David Rittich, ironically, to Toronto. Trading of Sam Bennett to Florida. We'll get to all the trades in news and notes. But to be different, I'm going to go under 5.5 at plus 104. I can see this being a 4-0 Toronto win. 4-1, 3-2. 8 o'clock, you have the Lightning and the Predators. The Lightning are minus 172. The Predators are plus 144. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 108. Unders minus 112. Lightning minus 1.5 is plus 158. Predators plus 1.5 is minus 192. I'm going to go the home dog here. Nashville plus 144 against Tampa. Nashville's been playing a lot better of late. They stood pat the deadline, which I thought was the right thing to do. With themselves in the mix for that last playoff spot in the Central Division. So I'm going to take the Predators plus 144 against the Lightning. 8:30, the Panthers and the Stars. The Panthers are minus 120. The Stars are plus 102. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 102. Unders minus 120. Panthers minus 1.5 is plus 210. Stars plus 1.5 is minus 260. I'm going to go with another home dog here, and the Stars are plus 102. I think they need to get going here. And I think that this could be a trap game for Florida. So give me Dallas plus 102 at home against the Panthers. All right, now we'll move on to Major League Baseball. We'll go over the games from last night, and we will look ahead to a busy slate for today. Alrighty. Padres over the Pirates 6-2. The Padres are 8-3. Pittsburgh's 3-7. Yu Darvish want to know. Luis Otavito suffers the loss. 0-1. Will Myers homer in this game for the Padres. Darvish 7 innings, 3 hits, 100 run, a walk, 6 strikeouts, ERA 3.06. Cahill 5 innings, 3 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, ERA of 8. And I'm referring to Trevor Cahill. Yankees over the Blue Jays 3-1. The Yankees are 5-5. Toronto 4-6. Garrett Cole the win. He's 2-0. Robbie Ray the loss. He's 0-1. Aroldis Chapman the save. His first of the season. The Yankee offense was brought to you by Kyle Higashioka, the backup catcher, with 2 home runs, a 2-run shot, and a solo. Garrett Cole 6 innings, 3 hits, and a run, a walk, 8 strikeouts, ERA 1.47. Robbie Ray 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, ERA 3.6. He wasn't bad in his season debut. Rays over the Rangers 1-0. The Rays are 5-5. Texas 3-7. Tyler Glass now the win. Suffering the loss was Taylor Hearn. He's 0-1 to save. Diego Castillo, his third of the year. The lone home run of the game was in the bottom of the 7th by Willie Adames. Tyler Glass now 7 2/3, 2 hits, no one runs, a walk, 14 strikeouts, ERA of a sparkling .46. Dane Downey 4 innings, 2 hits, no one runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, ERA of 1. Marlins over the Braves 5-3-10. The Marlins are 3-6. The Braves are 4-6. Yimi Garcia, the Witties 1-1, and Jacob Webb, the loss, he's 0-1. Adam Duvall hit the lone homer in this game. Sandy Alcantara got the start. 6 1/3, 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, ERA 2.45. Huascar Yanoa, 6 innings, 3 hits, and a run, a walk, 10 strikeouts, ERA 0.75. He's been marvelous so far this season. Maybe he's this year's version of Mike Soroka for them, which I thought would be Ian Anderson. Still a long way to go. Brewers over the Cubs 6-3. The Brewers 6-4. Chicago 4-6. Freddie Peralta the win. He's 2-0. Adbert Alzolay the loss, and Josh Hader with the save. Chris Bryant hit a home run in this game for the Cubs. Freddie Peralta 6 innings, 2 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts, ERA of a sparkling .69. Adbert Alzolay 5 1/3, 3 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 6 strikeouts, ERA of 6.1. Nats over the Cardinals 5-2. The Nationals 2-5. St. Louis 5-5. Getting the win for the Nationals, a much needed one. Kyle Finnegan the loss. John Ganton the save. Brad Hand. Yadier Molina and Andrew Stevenson homered in this game for their respective clubs. Eric Feed got the start, 4 2/3, 2 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, ERA of 8.53. John Gant, 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, ERA of 3. Nats over the Cardinals 5-2. The Nationals we just did that one. Oops. Angels over the Royals 10-3. The Angels 7-3. KC 4-4. Alex Cobb the win. Brady Singer the loss. Cobb 1-0. Singer 0-2. Mike Trout homered in this game in the top of the 9th. Alex Cobb 5 2/3, 4 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 10 strikeouts, ERA 4.63. Singer 5 innings, 7 hits, and a run, no walks, 6 strikeouts, ERA 6.48. He pitched fine, but there was a lot of errors by his defense that cost him, so that's not Brady Singer's fault. White Sox over the Indians 4-3. The White Sox 5-5. Cleveland 5-4. Getting the win for the White Sox, Cody Heuer. The loss, Emmanuel Clace. Eddie Rosario and Adam Eaton homered for their respective teams. Dallas Keuchel got the start. 5 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, ERA 6.43. Tristan McKenzie 4 innings, 2 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, ERA 4.7. Tigers over the Astros 6-2. The Tigers 4-6. Astros 6-4. Casey Mize the win. Zach Greinke the loss. Astros going off after their hot start to the season. The trade really hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Grayson Griner Renato Nunez, and Akil Baddoo. And then on the other side, Michael Brantley and Carlos Correa, but in reality, that was trash time, garbage time. Casey Mize, 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, ERA of .82. He was marvelous for the Tigers. Zach Greinke, 4 2/3, 10 hits, 6 runs, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, ERA of 4.08. A's over the Diamondbacks 9-5. Oakland 4-7 after starting the year 0-5. So they're coming back a little bit into the mix. Arizona 4-7. Chris Bassett the win. Madison Bumgarner the loss. Matt Chapman homered in this game for Oakland. Chris Bassett 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts, ERA 4.96. Madison Bumgarner 4 2/3, 7 hits, 6 runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, ERA 11.2. I feel so bad. He's been dreadful as a Diamondback. Reds over the Giants 3-0. The Reds 7-3. San Francisco 6-4. Wade Miley the win. He's 2-0. Aaron Sanchez the loss 0-1. And Lucas Sims to save his first. Jesse Winker and Joey Votto each homered in this game for the Reds. Wade Miley 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, a walk, 3 strikeouts, 0 ERA. Aaron Sanchez, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 3 strikeouts, ERA 2.7. Mariners, Orioles rained out, as well as the Phillies and the Mets. They will be in double headers for today. A lot of games today because of double headers and whatnot. 2 o'clock, you have the Red Sox and the Twins. Obviously, we'll get more into this for news and notes, but yesterday they had to postpone due to the unrest going on in Minneapolis. All the Minnesota teams canceled yesterday due to the unrest there after the terrible police shooting that took place yesterday. So we'll see if they're back at it today. I'm not so sure, but let's just assume the game's going to be played. Nady Eovaldi, Kenta Maeda. The Twins are minus 154. The Red Sox plus 130. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Red Sox plus 1.5 is minus 160. The Twins minus 1.5 is plus 132. This is a hard one. I'm going to go over 8.5 at minus 105. I think that the Red Sox offense will continue to score some runs. And I don't trust Nady Eovaldi. This is why I'm going over. I think the Twins offense will finally get going here at home against a mediocre pitcher, Nady Eovaldi. So over 8.5 at minus 105. 340 of the A's and the Diamondbacks, Jesus Luzardo and Zach Gallen. A's are minus 116. The Diamondbacks are minus 102. Over under 9. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 118. A's minus 1.5 is plus 146. Diamondbacks plus 1.5 is minus 178. I think that the wrong team is favored here. I think the Diamondbacks should be favored here. They have the better pitcher in Zach Gallen. Yes, he's making his season debut. But what has Jesus Luzardo proved that he's some special pitcher? He hasn't proved anything yet. Why is he favored? I know this could be a Vegas nose situation. Gallen's making his season debut, but Gallen's awesome. I love the Diamondbacks at minus 102 against the A's. Doubleheader game number 1 between the Mariners and the Orioles. Justice Sheffield and John Means. Means has been awesome this year. Sheffield, not so much with a 0-1, 7.2 ERA, whip of 2. Means 1-0, .77, whip of .86. Means has been tremendous. And then Phillies Mets at 4 o'clock as well. Doubleheader game number 1. Obviously, both these teams playing straight 7-inning doubleheaders. Chase Anderson and Taijuan Walker. Anderson 0-1 with a 3.6 ERA, whip of .8. Walker, no decisions, 3 ERA, whip of 1. Those odds aren't out yet. 6:30, you have the Pirates and the Padres from Pittsburgh. Blake Snell and Chad Cole. Padres are minus 250. The Pirates are plus 205. Over under 8 overs, minus 105. Unders minus 115. The Padres minus 1.5 is minus 134. The Pirates plus 1.5 is plus 112. This is tough. I'm going to go over 8.5 at minus 105. I think that the Padres could do this by themselves. The Pirates' bullpen stinks. Maybe the Pirates do score a couple garbage time runs off of the Padres' bullpen a little bit. So I'm going to go over 8 at -105. Mariners-Orioles game number 2 from Camden Yards. Nick Barvicius and Dean Kremer. Barvicius 0-1 with a 7.71 ERA, whip of 1.07. Kramer 0-1 with a 9 a whip of 3. And then you have Phillies-Mets doubleheader game number 2 on ESPN tonight for their first half of their doubleheader. Aaron Nola, Marcus Stroman, a nice pitching matchup. Nola, no decisions, 2.53 ERA in a whip of 1.31 in 2 starts. Marcus Stroman 1-0 with a 1.42 ERA, whip of .95. For this game, straight up, I like Philly. They're favored. Maybe if there's a bet on the board, I would take them in the first 5. Just to be a little, different. Next up, you have the Yankees and the Blue Jays, Jameson Taillon and Hyunjin Ryu. The Blue Jays are favored at -112. The Yankees, the first time as an underdog all year, -104. Over under 9, overs -120, unders -102. The Yankees -1.5 is +158. The Blue Jays +1.5 is -192. So the Yankees are favored on the run line, but not the money line. Interesting. I like the Yankees here. Hyunjin Ryu was good on opening day against the Yankees. Jameson Taillon was good in his first start against the Orioles. Although the Yankees not get the win, they lost that game because of their offense, not because of Jameson Taillon. I'm going to take the Yankees as an underdog. When are you ever going to take the Yankees as an underdog? So they're not. This is the first game all year where they're a dog. They were a favorite in every Rays game in Tampa, and they're a favorite in all 6 games of the homestand. So they're a dog tonight at -104. And by the way, some odds for the first leg of the doubleheaders came out. I know the totals are obviously different because of the 7 innings. So the over-under is 6, -120, -102 for over and under, respectively, for Mariners, Orioles. Mariners +1.5 is -210. Orioles -1.5 is +172. My pick for the first one, there's no first 5, obviously, because it's a doubleheader. So I'm going to go with the Orioles. -1.5 is +172 as the play. It's a ballsy one, but that's where I'm going to go. And then the Phillies are +114. The Mets are favored at -134 for the first one. Over under 6.5, overs -120, unders -102. The Phillies +1.5 is -210. The Mets -1.5 is +172. This is hard, but I'm going to go with the juiced over at -120. And no second halves of the doubleheaders are up yet. But we talked about them. You have the Rangers and the Rays, Kyle Gibson and Ryan Yarbrough. Rays are -178, the Rangers +150, over under 8, overs -104, unders -118. The Rangers +1.5 is -137. The Rays -1.5 is +114. This is a different play, but I'm going to go Rays run line -1.5 is +114. I just think that this is a blowout. Kyle Gibson stinks. So I'm going to lay the run line with the Rays. -1.5 at +114. 7:20, you have the Marlins at the Braves. Pablo Lopez and Max Fried. Braves are -180. The Marlins are plus 152, over under 7.5, overs minus 112, unders minus 108. The Marlins plus 1.5 is minus 144. The Braves minus 1.5 is plus 120. Pablo Lopez has been marvelous this season. I'm going to make a ballsy play. Marlins first half, first five, plus 190. I don't think they'll win the game, but the starters have really kept them in these games. So I'm going to go Marlins first half, plus 190. $7:30, you got the Cubs and the Brewers, Kyle Hendricks and Brandon Woodruff. The Brewers are minus 146. The Cubs are plus 124. Over under 7.5. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. The Cubs plus 1.5 is minus 182. The Brewers minus 1.5 is plus 150. I love the Cubs plus 124 on the money line. Kyle Hendricks all of a sudden became underrated, and Brandon Woodruff has become the talk of the town. Brandon Woodruff isn't even the best pitcher on his own team. That's Corbin Burns. So I'm going to go with the Cubs as a dog here, plus 124 on the road at Milwaukee. 7:45, you have the Nationals and the Cardinals. Great matchup. Steven Strasburg and Jake Flaherty. The Cardinals are minus 116. The Nats are minus 102. Over under 7.5. Overs even money. Unders minus 122. The Nationals minus 1.5 is plus 176. The Cardinals plus 1.5 is minus 215. I'm going to go with a very ballsy play. I'm going to go with the draw after 5 at plus 440. This feels kind of right here. I don't know who will win. If I had to make a lean towards the side, it'd be Nats as the dog, but I like plus 440 draw first half. Tie game after 5. 8 o'clock, you got the Indians at the White Sox, Shane Bieber and Lucas Giolito. The Indians are minus 118. The White Sox are even money, over under 7. Overs minus 102, unders minus 120. Indians minus 1.5 is plus 158. The White Sox plus 1.5 is minus 194. I'm going to go with the White Sox and even money as a home underdog. I think Giolito closed as a dog against the Angels on opening night, weirdly enough, because the Angels are just a popular betting team because they have Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. But Shane Bieber, yes, is better than Lucas Giolito, but I'm banking on the White Sox to win the game. This is what I'm ultimately banking on. I think the White Sox are the better team, better offense, and Cleveland's offense, to me, is not very good. So I'm taking the White Sox even money against the Indians, as Shane Bieber will be the American League's Jacob deGrom in getting no run support. The Tigers and the Astros, Matt Boyd and Jake Odorizzi. The Astros are ridiculous, minus 190. The Tigers are plus 160, over under 9. Overs minus 108, unders minus 112. The Tigers plus 1.5 is minus 128. The Astros minus 1.5 is plus 106. I'm going over 9 at minus 108. I think Jake Odorizzi is one of the more overrated pitchers in all of baseball. He should not be 190 against anybody. Although Tigers in the over would be intriguing, but I'm no Matt Boyd fan either. I think he's one of the more overrated pitchers in the game as well. So to play it safe, I'm going over 9 at minus 108. The Angels and the Royals, Dylan Bundy and Danny Duffy. The Angels are minus 146. The Royals are plus 124. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 114. Unders minus 106. The Angels minus 1.5 is plus 116. The Royals plus 1.5 is minus 140. I'm going to go with the over 8.5 at a juice number at minus 114. The Royals have been an over team a lot this season. Whether it's they're scoring a lot of runs or giving up a lot of runs, normally a combination of both. So I'm going to go over 8.5 at minus 114. 9:30 ESPN, Reds, Giants. Luis Castillo and Kevin Gossman. The Giants are minus 116. The Reds are minus 102. Over under 7.5. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Reds minus 1.5 is plus 172. Giants plus 1.5 is minus 210. Again, why are the Reds a dog? What's so special about the San Francisco Giants? They're rebuilding. They're terrible. I know the Reds aren't great either, but Luis Castillo should not be an underdog against Kevin Gossman. I'm laying the minus 102 at the Reds at San Francisco as a slight underdog. And at 10 o'clock, you have the Rockies and the Dodgers, so an opening weekend rematch. Antonio Sensatella and Trevor Bauer. The Dodgers minus 330. The Rockies are plus 265 over under 8 overs minus 104 unders minus 118. The Rockies plus 1.5 is plus 126. Yeah, so the Rockies plus 1.5 is plus 126, and the Dodgers minus 1.5 is minus 152. Going over 8 at minus 104. Trevor Bauer has not pitched that well this season. And the Rockies have been an over team, weirdly enough. I think the Dodger offense will get going as well. So I'm going to go over 8 at a value number at minus 104. Alrighty, now I'll move on to the news and notes segment. We're going to start with something I brought up earlier in the baseball segment, which is the tragic police shooting that took place in Minnesota of Devontae Wright, as the Timberwolves, the Wild, and the Twins all conjoined and postponed their games out of precaution due to possible unrest. Thoughts and prayers to the family of Devontae Wright. It's just terrible. He's 20 years old. And just been a rough year plus for Minnesota, George Floyd, and now this latest shooting, which is just really sad. And the Twins president spoke upon it as well. Based on the events of the last 24 hours, playing a baseball game today felt a little less important. That obviously was yesterday. And hopefully the Red Sox and Twins play today. And hopefully the Wild and the Timberwolves get to play and reschedule those games. Although Brooklyn needs that game rescheduled, to be quite honest, because what if they don't play that game and they're the 2 seed instead of the 1 seed? So, even though the Timberwolves are terrible, that's still a meaningful game for the Brooklyn Nets, who are fighting for that 1 seed. And then the Wild, hopefully they reschedule that game because they're playing for a playoff spot and seeding. They could be the second place team in the West Division, with the Golden Knights just weirdly not being themselves and losing as big favorites a lot this season. So hopefully those games are rescheduled, and obviously Twins Red Sox as well. And there's one other thing I want to mention in regards to that. Obviously the Timberwolves had a good statement. The Wild came out with a statement. And those are pretty well written by the respective franchises. All right, trade deadline for hockey. I think the Capitals had a great day acquiring Michael Raffl from Philadelphia for a 5th-round pick. But the big one was that they acquired Anthony Mantha from the Detroit Red Wings for Jacob Vrana and Richard Panik. That is an outstanding trade for the Capitals. Anthony Mantha is a great player. It's just that he's been stuck with the Red Wings. And the Red Wings also got a 1st-round pick and a 2nd-round pick in the deal, which I think is a lot for Anthony Mantha, but great job by the Capitals getting themselves another top 6 forward in Mantha. I think he'll really help them, and Raffl's a good depth piece. So I really think they had a great trade deadline. The Anaheim Ducks weirdly made an interesting move as they acquired Hayden Fleury from Carolina for a prospect and a 6th-round pick. So maybe Hayden Fleury benefits from a change of scenery in Anaheim. Ben Hutton to Toronto from Anaheim for a 5th-round pick, so good depth defenseman for Toronto. I alluded to this trade earlier in the show. Sam Bennett from Calgary to Florida for a 2022 2nd-round pick and a prospect. I think that is a good trade for Florida. Bennett will really help them as a middle 6 forward. Bennett really never found his footing in Calgary after one great year, so hopefully Bennett finds a home with Florida. The Avalanche acquire Carl Soderberg from Chicago for 2 forward prospects. So Soderberg back to Colorado. I think that would make that fan base and that team very happy. Golden Knights acquire Matthias Janmark from Chicago for a 2nd-round pick. So Janmark goes to Vegas as like a middle 6 forward. I think that's a good ad for them. I'm surprised that Chicago sold off a lot of pieces, to be honest. I thought they'd stand pat or even be a buyer because how they're like 4 back or maybe 2 back. I don't remember how back they were, but they weren't that far back. Edmonton getting depth defense, acquiring Dmitry Kulikov from New Jersey for a 4th-round pick. So I think that is a solid deal for Edmonton. Although Chicago did make a move for Adam Gaudette of Vancouver for Matthew Hydemore. So Vancouver and Chicago doing a 1-for-1 swap there. In a non-trade deadline related, Stars claim Sami Vatanen off of waivers. I think Vatanen could benefit from a change of scenery in Dallas. I like that fit for him. Maybe he could play with John Klingberg a little bit. And Miro Heiskanen. The Los Angeles Kings re-signed Alex Iafallo, 4 years, $16 million. A good contract for Iafallo. Solid player for the Kings. And then Scott Laughton extends with the Flyers 5 years, $15 million. So Laughton's been a good depth piece for Philadelphia over the past few seasons. And then the big NFL news from yesterday, Julian Edelman retires as the former Super Bowl MVP. Leaves Patriot fans with 2 words, Foxborough forever. This obviously comes after his release yesterday. And now this creates a hole in the Patriots offense that they have to replace. I know they signed the 2 tight ends in free agency, but now they need a wide receiver. Maybe they get lucky and Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle falls to them at 16. One of them could be this year's CeeDee Lamb. They could drop into the teams where the team really can't pass them up. So they really need a wideout now. Women's Basketball Coaches Association to discuss inequities between the men's and women's tournaments with the NCAA. This was a big storyline in March Madness. They're going to meet up on April 19th. And in addition, they're going to also talk about the external review that the NCAA ordered last month. And they are discussing expanding the women's championship field from 64 to 68 teams to match the current men's tournament format. I like that a lot. Introduction of a travel per dime stipend for all participants in the women's NIT to match the men's NIT. Revenue distribution based on a 5-year rolling average of success but there's no current revenue distribution of the women's tournament. And then the challenges posed by conducting both Final Fours events in the same weekend. So, I'm interested to see what ends up happening here. A couple college basketball news related for men's. Colin Gillespie is returning to Villanova, as well as Jeremy Samuels. That's huge for the Wildcats. They'll probably come into the 21-22 season as the Big East favorites, with those 2 guys returning. Gillespie will probably be the preseason Big East Player of the Year, either him or Jeremiah Robinson Earl of Villanova, unless he declares for the draft and gets drafted. So that is great news for Villanova. Former Memphis point guard Boogie Ellis transfers to USC, and I think that is a good get for them. Obviously, they're going to lose Evan Mobley, who's obviously a big man. And they're going to lose Yvonne Mobley, the brother of Yvonne, as well. So they need some extra talent in there, and I think Boogie would be a great fit for Andy Enfeld's team. Some historical news in the NBA. Stephen Curry makes Golden State Warriors history as he passes Wilt Chamberlain for the most points in franchise history. That is really, really cool. Good on ESPN because they got that moment on national television. And obviously when they did the second half schedule, they probably did not have that in their heads. And what they did have in their heads is that they saw a matchup in Nikola Jokic and Stephen Curry, so that's why that game was on TV. And with Golden State fighting for the playoffs, or the playing game, and Denver fighting for a playoff spot as well, that's where they picked that game, and it was just a coincidence that Steph makes Warriors history, passing Wilt on the all-time franchise point list in that moment. So congratulations to Stephen Curry. A couple Knicks-related items before I go to American Idol. He gave advice. Kobe gave advice to Julius Randle. And Mike Breen told this awesome story about Kobe passed on his famous work ethic to Julius Randle. That is neat. Anytime you learn from arguably the greatest basketball player of the century that's not named LeBron James, then that's very special. I'm sure that meant a lot to Julius Randle. And Randle obviously having a career year for the Knicks, could very well win the Most Improved Player award in the league with his great play this season, as he has expanded his game, and not just scoring, but passing and his playmaking as well. So I think that's a great story that MSG told last night on the broadcast. And one more rumor, which I'm not really a big fan of, the Knicks are targeting Dennis Schroeder this offseason, as the Lakers point guard will be among the Knicks targets this offseason. I don't like that fit. I think the perfect guy for the Knicks is Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball screams Knicks. But the case for Dennis Schroeder is that he's the steady player, been in a lot of big games. Picking him instead of Lonzo would mean avoiding LeVar Ball, avoiding any drama with that family in the show, LaMelo, and all that. So that's the case for Schroeder and the case against Lonzo Ball. But I'm not a huge Dennis Schroeder fan. Yes, he's a starting player in the NBA and has been wonderful for the Lakers this year. But let's be honest about the situation. Is he a product of LeBron this year? And was he a product of Russell Westbrook? And was he a product of that Thunder team, Chris Paul? So, my question for Schroeder is, was he a product of other great talent rather than is he actually a good player? But if I'm the Knicks, I go for Lonzo Ball. He's young. He fits the timeline. Obviously, he used to be teammates with Julius Randle. So there's some connection there. But the case against Lonzo, as I mentioned, is his father and the reality TV show Ball in the Family. And obviously you're going to be having a lot of reality TV drama as well. You know how reality TV is. And Ball and the Family's a good show. Like, I've watched it before. Obviously, it's about Lonzo's family. And Lonzo, obviously, is one of the stars of the show. As it's about LeVar and his wife and the three boys and their basketball careers and their personal lives and all that fun stuff. And obviously Lonzo's daughter's a part of the show too, and his on-off girlfriend, Denise Garcia. So, Ball and the Family to Madison Square Garden would be quite the story, for sure. All right, now move on to American Idol. It was a very interesting show last night, as it was the wild card top 16. I should have mentioned this in the news and notes segment, but Paula Abdul was a guest judge. As Luke Bryant tested positive for COVID-19, so we'll see how long Paula will be there. Maybe it's will be on the show for. And if there's somebody else that's going to fill in for Luke as well, and how long Luke will be gone for. All right, so something we forgot to talk about yesterday was that Wyatt Pike, who performed Use Somebody by Kings of Leon's, withdrew from the competition as he had to drop out. There's no reason given. Did he test positive for COVID? And they're just not telling us? That wouldn't be a big surprise to me. Or maybe something happened where he had to drop out of the competition that wasn't related to COVID-19. All right, so the live reveal, the top 12, was last night. Everybody performed again. First up was Casey Bishop. As Casey performed a really nice song, The House of the Rising Sun by The Animals. There's a lot of different versions of that song. And I thought that Casey did a nice job. Colin Jameson went next and performed Waves by Dean Lewis. Deshaun Gonsalves went next, and Deshaun performed Higher Ground by Stevie Wonder. Great performance. Cassandra Coleman was fourth, and she performed Light On by Maggie Rogers. Caleb Kennedy went fifth, and he performed an original song, Nowhere. Madison Watkins went sixth, and she performed Hotline Bling. By Drake. After performing Gravity by Sarah Bareilles. That's different of Madison to go with Hotline Bling there. Next up was Ava. Ava performed Love of My Life by Queen, which I thought was a good performance. Eighth was Bean, as Bean performed Grow As We Go by Ben Platt. Chase went ninth, as Chase sang What Brings Life Also Kills. Which is a really, really good song. And it was a good performance there. Alyssa went 10th, as she went The Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston. Alana Sophia went 11th and performed Heart Attack by Demi Lovato. Willie Spence performed Diamonds by Rihanna. 13th was Grace Kinsler, as she performed Dangerous Woman by Ariana Grande. 14th was Hunter Metz, as Hunter performed I Can't Make You Love Me by Bonnie Raitt. And Graham DeFranco went last, as he performed Cover Me Up by Jason Isbell. And then the top 10 voted in Casey Bishop, Deshaun Gonzalez, Cassandra Coleman, Caleb Kennedy, Ava August, Chase Beckham, Alyssa Ray, Willie Spence, Grace Kinsler, and Hunter Metz. And the two people that the judges saved were Madison Watkins and Bean, eliminated from the competition, Colin Jameson, Alana Sophia, and Graham DeFranco. All right, Sunday's show will be the top 12 and the comeback twist. And there's a bit of a twist here, as 10 select contestants from Season 18 will come back to compete for a second chance since last season's production was forced to go entirely remote because of the COVID-19 pandemic. As we'll see people from last year that were very talented, and the comebacks will be on April 19th, which is next Monday. So we'll get more into American Idol on Friday's podcast, and I'll predict who will move on and whatnot. Alrighty, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. Hard choices tonight, but there's one that absolutely stood out, and that's the Cincinnati Reds, as they are plus money now against the Giants. Luis Castillo should not be plus money against the bad San Francisco Giants offense. I'm sorry. That's absolutely crazy. Luis Castillo is much better than that. So I'm taking the even money. It's down to minus 102 now. Are the Giants against the Reds. So Reds minus 102 against San Francisco tonight. All right, so that's it for the podcast today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything in baseball, NBA, and NHL, looking ahead to tomorrow's games. We'll preview tomorrow night's episode of The Masked Singer, the return of Nick Cannon, and the Group A finals, including a new wild card, and obviously news and notes, and my best bet as well. And we will make picks for the Heritage Open for golf. All right, hope you guys have a great day, everyone.